Kapla!
I'm going to take this opportunity, however, to suggest that we all hail Hiroki. Oh, that's all I'm saying.
Forgive me, Doctor. I'm receiving a number of distress calls. I don't doubt it.
Y'all remember the 50 waitresses. Have a mighty fine night.
You come in peace, surrender or be destroyed. Here to make war, we surrender. Falsehood, important things are new people.
When the appointed hour arrives, the Marauders will deactivate their cloaking devices and begin transporting Klingon shock troops directly to the landing zone.
Landing zone? Where? Tell me.
Why not? Your feeble weapons will be useless against us. We will kill all your males and take your females to mate with.
All right. Now the Federation's taking over, whether you like it or not. You people, you've been running this planet like a seaport planet. From now on, it's going to be under one roof. You're going to run it like a business. That means you're going to make a profit.
Look, these three words written larger than the rest, with a special pride never written before, or since. Tall words, proudly saying, "We the people."
Hi, I'm Nicole DeBoer. I played Lieutenant Esri Dax on DS9, and I welcome you to Birdo Prey 5 channel. Hail Karoga.
Hello world, it's Birdo Prey 5, Kapla, and welcome Christmas Eve. It is December 23rd, 2022, and it's a cold one. Started off here at 50 degrees, a balmy 50 degrees this morning, little bit of drizzle. Then there were some snowflakes. Not the bad type of snowflakes either. Not the people who complain about everything. The actual snowflakes that fall from the sky. And then they went away too. And now it's just cold and getting colder. We're going down to a low of 12 degrees Fahrenheit tonight. And a high tomorrow, I believe, of something like 15 degrees. So, yeah. And this is by far the coldest it's been this season. So it's going to be one of those Christmases. Not going to be a white Christmas, but it's going to be a cold Christmas. Richie Poole first in the chat. Kapla, Richie Poole. And Richie Poole has the sis Opre, mom Opre, nephew Opre, and sassy emojis. Sis Opre and nephew Opre were here. They left around 2 p.m. Eastern to go back to New Jersey. When it was apparent that it was the safest time to go back, they would get home hopefully before it got below freezing. If they waited till the rain/snow ended, then it would be freezing and much slipperier. Wow. Slipperier? That doesn't even sound like a word. Much more slippery on the roads than it would have been had it not turned to ice. Slippier? I don't think that's a word. I don't think it's stickier is a word, but slippier, I don't think is a word. Positive Candor says, Merry Christmas Eve, Merry Christmas Eve, Positive Candor. John Araki says, crap blah, John. Hashtag ignore Chronos. Oh, that's just good. That's just always a good idea. John Araki says hashtag masks for Karoga. Why? Why, John Araki? Mike Richards is greetings from Columbus, Ohio. Greetings, Mike Richards. And Mike Richards says, to be in Karoga now that Yuletide is here. William Shakespeare. Were you about to say something, Mama Frey?
No.
Oh, okay. Gorilla's Random Thoughts says, Kapla, everyone. Kapla, Gorilla. Moxley fans says, Merry Christmas, guys. Merry Christmas, Moxley. Gorilla's Random Thoughts says, never underestimate the power of stupid. Roads are closed and visibility is at 0, but people are still out driving around and going in the ditch, so others have to come rescue their ass before the freeze. Gorilla, if I was of sound body, able body, I would be driving around. But I would be rescuing people for free because that was just the kind of things I like to do. I mean, it was really to show off the fact that I have a Jeep and I know how to drive it, and I can get one of the last things I did when I had my Jeep the last winter I had it was get this really big church van. This church van had become stuck. Now, unfortunately, it became stuck in the shared driveway of the building I was in. So I needed to get it moved so I could get out of the driveway and into the street and go anywhere, but I would have helped them anyway. But it just so happened I was behind them, and they were not having much luck getting it going. I was like, listen, just go in and drive. Like what do you mean? Like, just go in and drive. Like, what are you going to do? Like, I'm going to come up behind you. I'm going to push you. And they did not believe I would be able to do it. But that's one of the reasons why I had one of those metal brush guards on the Jeep. I hit them a little hard, granted, but no airbags went off, so it couldn't have been that hard. And it got them out, and they were very happy. They got on their way, and then, the driveway was open. I went on my way, and everybody was good. Everybody was happy. And then I was able to help a couple other people that night. Of course, I would always had the tow ropes with me, 20,000-pound tow ropes, so I could pull just about any vehicle out. And if they were really stuck, the tip, the tip, not the tip that counts, the other kind of tip, the secret, was to use inertia. So get a running start, and then just let the inertia jerk it. You have to jerk their car out of the snow and the ice. So you're going at like 5-6 miles an hour, and then the rope gets taut, and it drops you to 0, but it's enough to pull them out and over the hump, and then it's easy to drive out. And people complain, oh, you're going to ruin your transmission if you do that. Well, I did it plenty of times without ruining my transmission. Maybe I just got lucky. Gorilla also says, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Gorilla. Moxley fans says, Bird of Prey, Merry Christmas. Bird, hope you and the family are doing well today. Thank you, Moxley. We did get to see Sis O'Frey, Nephew O'Frey. They stayed last night and they were here this morning. And Nephew O'Frey is learning to talk so nice, and he's having so much fun. And he actually hangs out. He hangs out in the bed with me. He watches the screens. He likes to press all the buttons on the stream deck, and he just he likes to hang out and watch TV and watch the computer screen. I put a game. He knows YouTube. He, uh, we both like to watch Miss Rachel on YouTube for different reasons, but yeah. Mama Pray is not so sure if it's different reasons. Whatever the reasons, the way he looks at her. Whatever the reason, he'll have to get in line. Antiderivative Jill is in the house. Says, yay, bed life, kapla. Integral Jill, welcome and happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Gorilla's Random Thoughts says, hey, Jill, where was your stream today? The one on Friday I have off, and you didn't stream. She didn't stream. She streamed recently. I know that. Mike Richards is, oh, the weather outside sucks, dog bark. I don't think that's the music. I don't think that's the music, Mike Richards. 47 Yorktown says, hello, young sir. Hello, 47. Kapla. Pop culture curator is in the house. Kapla, pop culture curator. And then it jump. Says, hail, everyone. Merry Christmas. Kapla Bird, hope you're doing well. Thank you, pop culture curator. Well enough. Dave G Sound says, Kapla, Karoga, and Berto Prey 5. Kapla, Dave G Sound, and Dave G Sound. Thank you so much. Dave G Sound sent a Christmas card. Unfortunately, since I don't have the camera set up, I can't show it, but it was a very, very nice little card, and it had a bird on it. It had a bird inside the card. And I very much appreciate it, Dave G Sound. It came today. It arrived today. Antiderivative Jill says, no stream today. Scotty was busy, and I decided not to stream. But look, here's Bird. Thank you so much, Antiderivative Jill. I'm sorry you didn't get to stream. Eastland Bergholder says, hello all, Kapla, Eastland Bergholder. Hope you are well. Miss Lodell's groovy movie, says Kapla. Now, Mr. Londell definitely streamed today. Kapla, Mr. Londell. Resolute Germ says, hello, hello, Resolute. Hakeem says, Kapla, everybody, everyone. Kapla, Hakeem. LDG at hashtag free the net says, howdy, howdy. Welcome, LDG. I hope you get your blue check mark soon. John DeMarco says, greetings all. Greetings, John. And that's Ciso Pray for Mamo Pray. Greetings, John DeMarco. LDG says, excuse me, waiter. I like my bird. Well done. Pop Culture Curator says, are we getting Santa Bird this year? You know, I don't know, Pop. We'll see how I feel tomorrow. For today, getting the graphic on top of my avatar, since that's as close as we're getting, for sure. Yvette says, good evening, Bird and everyone. Merry Christmas to Mamo Pray, Ciso Pray, Charlie Sassy, and of course, especially to you, Bird XXX. Thank you so much, Yvette. Ciso Pray just got home. She left here at 2 p.m. on the dot. So 2 hours and 11 minutes to get home. Usually takes her an hour and 10 minutes on a decent day. An hour and 10 took her twice as long. But they made it home safely, which is all that matters. And I did warn her to leave the water running tonight on any faucets on an external wall of the house. She says it's just her shower, she believes. Her kitchen and her bathroom walls are not external walls. John DeMarco says, hello, Mike. Hello, John. Not that I'm Mike. Yvette says, and Merry Christmas to all in chat, too. Moxley fan says, we, the people. Professor Brainy Specs. Oh, hey, Professor. Says, good afternoon and Merry Christmas, Berto Pray and Mamo Pray. Good afternoon, Professor. Did you see the last the last Twilight Zone professor. There was some very suspicious activity taking place at a library. John DeMarco says hello to the professor, who says Merry Christmas to everyone. And a reminder that tomorrow, I believe, yes, tomorrow Jep Nerdy returns. Unless there's been a change of plans. Jep Nerdy returns after a hiatus last weekend. Professor Brainy Speck says hey to John. And Mike Richards, and Pop Culture says hello to Jill and Gorilla. And Professor says Bird of Prey. It went to 12 above with a wind chill of -5 this morning. Dear God. It's one thing when it's when it's 12 above in New York City. And it's another thing when it's 12 above deep in the heart of Texas. Hope you guys don't have more power problems. The Traveler, formerly known as Wesley Crusher, is in the house. Kapla Traveler, and puts in all the custom emojis. Gorilla says hey to Pop Culture. So does Yvette. Pleasant Valley Pigger Canada says, hey folks, had a busy morning. Time to relax a bit. Please enjoy yourself and relax. Pleasant Valley Picker. One day I'll learn to read. I'll get hooked on phonics. The Traveler says, Bird of Prey, greetings, birds, salty turds, and nerds. Greetings, Traveler. Gorilla says, Bird, don't want to hear about cold till you got weather sitting at -50. Gives a whole new meaning to the term numbnuts. -50, that's the thing about -50 is you really don't have to specify Fahrenheit or Celsius, because I believe it's actually -48, where it's the same number. It's the same.
I remember is -23 in Corona.
Mama Prey remembers the coldest temperature Mama Prey experienced was -23 in Caroga, the real Caroga, New York. Antiderivative Jill with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Antiderivative Jill, with a Merry Christmas and a beautiful Christmas tree emoji for everyone. Thank you so much. What'd you say, Mama Prey? You went out to breakfast?
Yeah, we were going out for the.
They were going out to breakfast.
Yeah, but
It was a cold morning.
16 different layers.
Wearing 16 different layers of clothing, and I'm sure that's not an exaggeration. For Mama Prey, I'm sure that was
Scanning. Indications
real.
negative at this time.
And Andrew Jill got eyebrow Dax.
Get out of there.
Beautiful eyebrow Dax. The Traveler says, Bird of Prey, come out here. It's 70 degrees today, and Sunday might be 80, a heat wave in Los Angeles. Well, Traveler, that's awful nice, but I would still go with San Diego over LA if I had the option. Positive Candace says, are you going to watch the next Aliens movie? Aliens Romulus. Yes, Romulus. No, Positive Candor. I don't suspect I will. And Antarctic Jill says, slipperier is the word. Slipperier. Slipperier. If you say so, I sounds weird to me. Professor says hello to Dave G. Pleasant Valley Piggy says, Andrew Jill, no worries, not streaming today. I had a very busy morning and would have missed it anyway. Pop Culture Curator says slicker. Well, slicker, yeah, but slippy. Slippery. Slipperier. Slipperier, maybe. Pleasant Valley Piggy says it snowed here again last night. Road slippery mess. 3 hours driving this morning doing stuff. No fun. I'm sorry to hear that. But kapla. Pleasant Valley Picker. Gorilla says, Bird, there are 5-foot drifts across the road, and you can't see them until you're stuck in the middle of it. I feel for you, Gorilla. You need a 4-wheel off-road Jeep with good winter tires. Pop Culture Curator says, Bird, you should have made the little old ladies from the church push. Now it was a couple of older Asian men. There were no old ladies. John Araki says, question of the day for Mamo Pray. What is your holiday drink of choice? Eggnog, hot cocoa, hot toddy, white Russian, or something else?
Eggnog.
Eggnog from Mamo Pray. And by the way, for the last time, her other question of the day, which was how to top the tree with an angel, a star, or a Santa hat, what would Mamo Pray pick?
Oh, God. Traditionally a star.
Traditionally a star, but
The last few years that we put up a tree.
for the last few years, it was the Santa hat. That's exactly what I said. So the star was traditional for her, but the Santa hat is the new tradition.
But I had a Santa hat and I did not have it.
Because we had a Santa hat and we didn't have a star. And Mom was like, but how are you going to get the hat to stand up? And then she saw that I had a 7-Eleven Big Gulp cup in the hat from years past. Christmases past, I kept the cup in the hat and it perfectly fit on the tree. Resolute Germs is just a little bump draft. Eastland Burkholder says 12 degrees earlier. Oh, man. Android of Jill says inertia, an object in motion, tends to remain in motion unless acted upon by an outside force. Yeah, and that outside force was the rope that was tied around the bumper of the stuck van or stuck vehicle, whatever vehicle it turned out to be. Darth Maul says, Kapla, Darth Maul says, remember this jerking tip, guys. Thanks, Bird. Yes, it's a good way. Remember, you can always jerk a car out. It's a good tip. John Meyer says, Bird talking about tips and jerking. Disgusting. I was trying to do my Christmas best by spreading the news. It's a good news. And John Araki says, Bird is part Jamaican. Jerk everything. Darth Maul says, Rachel Maddow. I'm not jerking Rachel Maddow. I know that much. Resolute Germs says, Uncle Joey teaching Nephew O'Prey all the important stuff in life, like oogling women on the internet. She puts herself out there to be oogled. Dave G sounds as it did have a bird. Yes, it did. It was awesome. Thank you, Dave G. Sid the List says, Hail Karoga, Christmas friendos. Hail Karoga, Merry Christmas, Sid the List. Hope you are doing well. Pop Culture Curator says, was bird stapled to the card? No, there was not a bird stapled to the card. Dave G Sound said it was glued to the card, I think. Sizzler says, one bow down before the power of Santa, or be crushed by his mighty boots of doom. Professor Brainspeck says, yes, you forgot I was watching Twilight Zone. Well, I just wanted to remind you, Professor. And John DeMarco says, yes, Jepner D returns tomorrow night. Awesome. Gorilla says, hey to Yvette. Mike Richards says, John DeMarco, should I be concerned that you've had 2 weeks to think up impossible questions? It's possible. Jedi Bill says, Kapla, brother warrior, bird of prey, and all. Hail, Kroger, hail, Jedi Bill, Kapla. John DeMarco says, Mike Richards, that would be logical. I tell you what's not logical. I had a dream the other night. I was going into New York City, which, why would I ever do that? I mean, I was walking. So, I mean, it's not like I was going in my wheelchair or something. I was walking. I don't know for what reason I was in New York City, but I was at Rockefeller Center, which I knew to be like where NBC broadcast out of, but I was going to a movie theater, which apparently in my dream was on the first floor of Rockefeller Center. And I was going to go watch a movie, but I accidentally went in the wrong door. And instead of going into a movie theater, I went into a classroom where a teacher was teaching intro to like television, whatever. Anyway, the teacher turned out to be Mrs. Anti-Tracker, Mrs. Salty Tracker. Now, granted, I really don't know what Mrs. Salty Tracker really looks like, but in my brain, for whatever reason, this particular person, I knew it as her. And she was surprisingly happy to see me. And she said, oh, Joe, you don't have to come in here. You can just go downstairs. And there was a door leading downstairs. And I was like, oh, thank you. And I was like, oh, shit. And I realized that what she was doing was she was letting me go downstairs, and downstairs in the basement, and I understand this isn't how any of it is in real life, but in the basement was where they taped Saturday Night Live. And further, the door she was letting me go down was the door where they kind of just have like extras that just kind of go down and line up and hope that they might be picked to be on or used in a sketch. Again, none of this really happened, but in my dream, it was. So I was down there. And also, like, if you were down there on this line, you were supposed to know how to act and, like, have gone through some basic training of some sorts. And I knew I had none of that training. So, like, I knew just me being there was kind of questionable to begin with. But for whatever reason, I mean, then there's the fact that I haven't watched Saturday Night Live in a number of years. And I really don't particularly even care for Saturday Night Live. But in this dream, I was so excited to be down there. But then I found out who was the host. And then I became even more excited. And then I really, when I woke up, questioned my entire life.
Who was the host?
So it turned out the host was Mary Weissman, or as you guys know her, Tilly. It was Tilly from Star Trek Discovery. Now, in my defense, she looked like season 1 Tilly. Okay, she looked like season 1 Tilly. And I was so excited. I was like, oh shit, it's Tilly. Now I knew Discovery was shit. And I knew Tilly was a joke. But I thought it would be hilarious to get like a selfie or something from Tilly I was like, oh, they'd love this if I got, something from Tilly. But I also knew that you weren't supposed to, like, you were supposed to be professional. You weren't supposed to go up and ask for a selfie and, like, be like an idiot. You were supposed to be, you know, just wait there and wait to be used. So I was down there, I was waiting, I was kept watching. There was one skit where, like, they called people over because they had to have Mary Weissman fly. So they needed a couple of people to, like, hold her up on a rope. And well, I was happy not to be asked for that one. But then, untilly related, some older woman called me over, and I didn't know who she was, but I could tell she was like an important person in the on the show, or, like, she was like a producer, or somebody who was, like, she wasn't ugly, but she was easily 25 years my senior. And she seemed to be interested in me more so than I was interested in her. And she wanted me to do certain things. Now, none of these things were overtly sexual, but you could tell they were, there was no damn way she needed to have these particular things done. She just wanted me to touch her. And I thought about it, and I realized, yeah, you know what? I'm totally okay with it. If this could further my career, I didn't mind. I didn't mind doing what she asked. And I woke up, and I was kind of sad that I didn't get I didn't get a selfie with Tilly. And a little sad that I didn't mind. And actually, I wasn't sad at all. It's perfectly fine. We're both adults. I was to take a shortcut to advancing my non-existent television career. I was okay with that. I was okay with her just using me for my body. So, yeah. I don't know what the moral of the story is. The moral of the story was, don't 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 make a wrong turn if you're ever going to the movie theater that doesn't exist at Rockefeller Center. And if you do make a wrong turn and Salty Tracker's wife allows you to go down the stairs, maybe don't. Maybe don't. No, it wasn't a wet dream. God damn it, pop culture. Gorilla says Jill wants kissing Dax. Does she? Tony Stark says Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Mr. Stark. Gorilla's Random Thoughts says hey to Jedi Bill. Antidote of Jill says I actually do love that episode. That's rejoined a wonderful episode of Deep Space Nine. Pop Culture Curator says hi to Jedi Bill. Tony Stark says hey to everyone. Jedi Bill says Merry Christmas to Tony Stark and Professor Brainy Specs. Andrew Jill says hi to Tony and Jedi. Tony Stark says Pinky and the Brain. Thank ye. Pinky and the Brain. Pinky and the Brain. One is a genius, the other's insane. To prove their mousy worth, they'll overthrow the earth. They're Pinky. Pinky and the Brain, brain. Loved Pinky and the Brain. Jedi Bill says hello and Merry Christmas to Pop Culture Curator. Darth Maul says, as a man who grew up in the LA area, LA is a shithole compared to San Diego, though there are parts of San Diego that inspired by LA. Well, as somebody who spent a fair amount of time in and around San Diego and a few weekends in Los Angeles, I would tend to agree. Executive producer Saul Leibowitz says, Kapla, bird of prey. Happy holidays to you and your family. Thank you, and happy holidays to you as well, executive producer Saul Leibowitz. Jedi Bill says, pop culture curator, congratulations on your 100 subscribers. Yes, I saw that. Congratulations on 100, pop culture curator. The first 100 are the hardest 100. Pleasant Valley Picker says, rum and eggnog. Got a gift card at a supermarket, so thought I'd get a free eggnog. And they were sold out. Oof.
Oh, I guess
Sorry to hear that. Mama Frey's got eggnog,
I mix it with German.
but she doesn't mix it with rum. John DeMarco says, the big gulp of Christmas yet to come is the one you really have to worry about. Gorilla's Random Thoughts is offering shoveling lessons tomorrow. Welcome, Dan Ben, who says, how scientific.
How much is he charging the people?
How much are you charging for shoveling lessons?
Yes.
Yes, Mama Pray. Tony Stark says, Merry Christmas. I'll be live on the eve. Very cool, Tony Stark. Yeah, I will give you a wrench, Tony Stark, if you'd like to put a link to your upcoming stream, if you've got the link yet, or your channel, whatever you want to link, you are free to do so. Pop Culture Curator says, I'm going to try to do a 100 subscriber stream celebration tonight. I'll see if anyone shows up. Very cool, Pop Culture Curator. Friday night is a rough night. Don't be discouraged. I mean, I hope people show up, but a lot of people stream on Friday nights. It is a very busy night on YouTube. Pleasant Valley Picker says, no one said hi. I must be invisible. Oh, kapla, Pleasant Valley. I'm sure it just took time. Pop Culture Curator says, hail, Merry Christmas to Pleasant Valley Picker. And there you go. There you go. People are saying hello. Captain Fandom Nerd says, Merry Christmas Eve Day. Thank you, Captain. Thank you. And earlier today, Captain Fandom Nerd and I played a little Governor of Poker. It was nice. Apologies again. I had to leave quickly because Nephew O'Prey demanded my attention. Resolute Germ says, never go downstairs in a dream. Freddy is waiting for you. Well, this wasn't Freddy. Positive Candor says, I still remember the stream where we all saw Mrs. Anti-Salty Tracker. That's true. I guess I have some fleeting remembrance of what she looked like, but she, you know, all I have to say is that I knew it was her, but I don't know how I knew it was her. Pop Culture Curator says, maybe Salty was down there. Maybe. Resolute says, worse than Freddy. Tilly was worse than Freddy. Pleasant Valley Figure says, Tilly, so it was a nightmare. Gap After Dark says, hello all, and puts in some Christmas trees. Thank you, Gap Kapla. John Araki says, Tilly is gross. Well, I never would have kicked Tilly out of bed. I've said that before. Gap After Dark says, Kapla Gap. Gorilla says, hey. Pop says, only a couple of people to... Oh. Yeah, well, they were strong guys, okay? And they have pulleys. And, you know, pulleys make things lighter. They're a machine. They're a simple machine. Syphilis is bird of prey. Kept finding Tilly over at the catering in between takes. Gap After Dark says hey to Gorilla. Bird had a Tilly. No, I didn't have a Tilly wet dream. Positive Candace is confirmation that Bird was Me Too. All I'm saying is that I didn't think it was so bad. Where are we? And it jumped. It jumped. Sorry about that, guys. I'm trying to find out where we jumped to. Dave G Sound says baboom, 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 baboom. Pop Culture Curator says the moral of the story is Bird needs help. That's probably true. Captain Finity is here with some popcorn. Yeah, enjoy the popcorn and the story, Captain Finity. Sizzler says, how do you even end up like Tilly with perfect future health care? How do you even end up like Tilly with perfect future health care? Oh, you mean in the future? You know, it's like, how do you wind up with bald people and all other types of blind people? And, you know, it's humans don't want to do genetic engineering. So you're just going to have, they're going to have people who it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter is the thing. Even though it clearly mattered at the beginning of season 1, and Michael Burnham was literally telling her that she couldn't eat this anymore, and she was giving her a better diet with like egg whites and shit. Even though the system was supposed to be able to make all the food healthy to begin with. But whatever. So Michael Burnham did fail. If anybody ever asked, did Michael Burnham ever fail at anything? She did fail at Tilly. She did fail keeping Tilly in shape. That was literally one of her goals in season 1. Sizzler says congrats to Pop Culture Curator, who says thanks. Professor Brainy Specs says Merry Christmas to Jedi Bill. Pop Culture Curator says, you're right, Bird of Prey. Too many people streaming tonight. Frustrating. Yeah, it's just Fridays. That's why we stream early. We stream early on Fridays. Well, we stream early all the time, but it's tough because there's a lot of people I want to listen to. I usually end up but listening to 2 or 3 people on recording and watching one live. Anyway, I let's head over to some news. Oh, let's first look at the holidays for today. Now, I ended up on December Eve, but that's basically because on December 23rd, not a hell of a lot of interesting holidays today. It's Festivus. I mean, that's the most interesting. No? Oh, okay, that's true. It is Nephew O'Pre's half birthday today, right? 6 months ago today, 2 years and 6 months ago today was June 23rd, and he was born. So June 23rd is his birthday, and December 23rd is his half birthday. So we actually had a piece of cake, or we had half a cake for Nephew O'Pre's half birthday, which had 2.5 candles, which he blew out. So yeah, Nephew O'Pre's half birthday, biggest, most important day today. But then Christmas Eve.
He didn't like the cake.
He did not like the cake because he only likes chocolate cake. and we had cheesecake. So also then we had Festivus. We have the birthday of Emperor Akito. We have Human Light. Explore the interesting history behind the secular holiday of Human Light. Let's uplift humanity.
We're just taking this and putting batteries.
We have Kasan Diwas. I have no idea what that is. Okay, we have National Christmas Movie Marathon Day. Get ready to snuggle in your warm blanket with a mug of hot chocolate. So you get to watch your favorite Christmas movies in a marathon today, which is cool. By the way, for those who didn't know, Violent Night, which recently got to movie theaters, is officially available to purchase and watch at home via Vudu. So if you have Vudu, possibly if you have Amazon, I'm not sure, but definitely if you have Vudu, you can buy a copy or rent a copy and watch it live, watch it, stream it. So that's what I did recently. And it's nice, high quality 4K if you're into that, if you got a 4K TV. So anybody, if you wanted to see Violent Night but didn't want to go to the movie theater, you can now. It's perfectly legal on Vudu. Yeah, I think it costs 20 to rent and 25 to buy. So I would just go ahead and buy it, but it's out there. It's National Forest Day, not the tree forest, but Forrest Gump forest, for anybody named Forrest. National Laura Day, for any women named Laura. National Nicole Day, like Uhura, like Nicole, Nicole, Nichelle. No, wait, that's Nichelle Nichols. Who the hell is Nicole? Oh, Nicole DeBoer. Yes, thank you, Baba Frey. Nicole DeBoer, Esri Dax, the National Nicole Day.
Charlie really gets to you, doesn't he?
National oh my God. PFEFFERNUSSE Day. What the hell does that even mean? Pepperencies are very delicious, appealing, and fairly easy to pronounce. What the? Okay, we're going to come back to this. But it's also National Roots Day. No, not potatoes and carrots and onions, things of that sort. National Roots Day. Delve into and reflect on your family's heritage, history, and ancestry. Okay, well, let's see. What the fuck is a periferous? It looks like a cookie covered in white chocolate. National Pfeffernuss Day. Hey, we're gonna get a pronunciation. It's celebrated on December 23rd each year. The day is dedicated to the tasty cookie called the Pfeffernuss, plural Pfeffernussi. This spicy delicacy is believed to have originated in Germany, but is also popular in Denmark and the Netherlands. It's a holiday treat that's been an integral part of Yuletide celebrations like St. Nicholas Day and Christmas. National Pfeffernuss Day is the day to make your own pfeffernuss and enjoy a tasty delicacy with friends and family. Pfeffernuss, also known as peppernoten or pepper nuts. Why didn't you just say that to begin with? Pepper nuts originated from Central Europe. A confectioner from Offenbach am Main named Johann Fleischmann is believed to have created the recipe in 1753. Then the cookie became very popular, attracting the interest of so many people, including renowned individuals like Felix Mendelssohn. Who the hell is Felix Mendelssohn? Germany, Denmark, and the Netherlands are the countries that most popularly known for this delicacy. In North America, ethnic Mennonites are also very fond of pfeffernusse. Today, the recipe is widely available and the cookie is widely consumed around the world. However, pfeffernusse is traditionally reserved for the holiday period around December. This is in keeping with tradition of its origins, as the cookie has been associated with the celebration of St. Nicholas Day and Christmas. Traditional recipes consist of nutmeg, cinnamon, cloves, ginger, black pepper, mace, anise, sugar, butter, eggs, and flour. Like licorice, anise. Popular nuts, such as walnuts and almonds, are also used to give the cookie some flavor. Leavening agents are applied to the mixture, kneaded, and then baked. They usually come out hard from the oven, but would soften after a few days. Also, they are tiny and sometimes shaped like nuts, which is probably why they're called pepper nuts. Nowadays, bakers make alterations to the recipe, include other ingredients, remove existing ones. While generally have a spicy taste, you can easily adjust the amount of spice you want. On National Pfeffernuss Day, homemade pepper nuts are available for the family and guests. The earliest known recipe is in 1753. Okay, let's see if we can't get a pronunciation. Anyway, a pronunciation. The first, how to say it. I'm not subscribing. Just tell me how to say the fucking word. Pfeffernusse. 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 In German, it would be said as Pfeffernusse. So I wasn't that far off. And in English, Pfeffernusse. Pfeffernusse. Wasn't that far off. Anyway. What do we got? Resolute Germ says tomorrow morning at 8 Pacific, Saturday morning, cartoons, Christmas special, Yogi's First Christmas. That's right, Resolute Germ is Yogi's First Christmas. Tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, 8 a.m., 8 Pacific. Syphilis is Lowell Festivus Classic. Yes, a Festivus for the rest of us. Hakeem says they taste like a cookie, but a bit hard. Resolute says leave it to the Germans to get cookies wrong. And Mendelssohn was a composer, says John DeMarco. Daniel's Hot Topics says, how do you pronounce that word? Pfeffernuss. 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 Hey, Daniel, I got some news you're going to be excited about, I suspect. Good timing, Daniel. So I was going through fucking Google News and look at this. Exclusive. Julian Bashir returning in Lower Decks and Section 31 series from Giant Freak and Robot, but exclusive Julian Bashir returning to Star Trek Lower Decks and a Section 31 series. Our sources confirm Alexander Siddig is on his way back to Star Trek as Dr. Julian Bashir, published 1 day ago. Dr. Julian Bashir, played by Alexander Siddig, is on his way back to Star Trek. Our trusted and proven. Look at that. They put it in bold letters so you know it's true. Sources tell us that Siddig has signed on to return to the franchise. He'll be voicing his signature role in the animated series Star Trek Lower Decks, and he'll be back with his voice and everything else in the upcoming live-action series based on Section 31. The word we received tracks with Season 3 of Lower Decks, which concluded in October. The most recent episode included a brief but memorable appearances by Section 31, as well as fan-favorite return to Deep Space Nine station. While Julian Bashir wasn't in that particular episode, Nana, Visitor, and Armin Shimmerman both voiced their DS9 roles for the story. That Julian Bashir will appear in the Section 31 Star Trek series is perhaps the most surprising update of the two. Many have questioned whether or not the show, which Michelle Yeoh is expected to be leading as Emperor Philippa Georgiou, had wandered into development limbo. Her character comes from a different century than that of Bashir, which brings up the question, exactly when is this series set in the Trek timeline? Of course, time travel is often used in Trek, and with that device, just about anything becomes possible. Emperor Georgiou leaps into time travel portal in Season 3 of Star Trek Discovery. While it isn't revealed when or where she came out, it was assumed she would be sent back to the 23rd century. Perhaps this means she'll instead be joining Dr. Julian Bashir in the 24th century for a Star Trek Section 31. It's also conceivable Michelle Yeoh is no longer attached to the project. With the actress's profile and list of upcoming projects growing, with the latest news from Variety casting her in the film adaptation of Wicked, her schedule may not be able to give room to a Trek series anymore. Julian Bashir may be replacing her in Star Trek Section 31. With this news, it seems likely something that both fans and Trek creators have talked and written about for years will become official. That Julian Bashir, in spite of his righteous indignation with which he responds to the very existence of Section 31 in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, will join the clandestine organization. He could potentially even replace the late Sloan, William Sadler, as head of Section 31. When former Deep Space Nine writers and producers put together a hypothetical revival premiere episode, one of the changes they pitched was Julian Bashir becoming head of Section 31. In fact, starting with 2001's Section 31 Abyss, David Mack wrote a series of non-canonical novels in which Siddig's character was brought into the secret organization, along with other popular Trek characters. Julian Bashir's obsession with Star Trek Section 31 begins in DS9 Season 6 episode Inquisition, when he is targeted by the organization as a potential spy. Offended that such a group exists within the Federation, Bashir agrees to do his best to take the organization down next time he's contacted. As much as he is genuinely disgusted by Section 31's existence, it's made clear he's also excited by the possibility of becoming a real-life spy. Alexander Siddig's acting career, since playing Julian Bashir on Deep Space Nine, is one of the bigger success stories of Trek alum from that period, particularly since the mid-2010s. Since that time, Siddig has scored prominent roles in Game of Thrones, Peaky Blinders, 21 Bridges, and most recently the Apple TV drama Shantaram? I don't know what the hell that is. Well, it's possible. I don't know what's more unbelievable, that Dr. Bashir is coming back, or that Section 31 is actually possibly still happening. That would be a giant surprise to me, but I could totally see Section 31 show with Dr. Bashir and not Michelle Yao. I think it would suck. Don't get me wrong, I'm not happy for it, because under the current people leading the show, I think they would just fuck it up too much. But if it was something that Ira Stephen Bear and the old guard were the ones in charge, I would be interested. But under the current leadership, I think they're just gonna fuck it up. But something else to look out for, I guess. Now, if he just was in a cameo in Lower Decks, that would be fine. That would be fine. I wouldn't be surprised about that. That wouldn't be worth writing a story about. Although I guess they need a story. They're always looking for content. So what is trusted and proven? If I click on that, what does that link to? Confirmed. So they have nothing. They're just what they're claiming they've confirmed. Okay. Nothing. Nothing of real value, but I knew Daniel would be happy. I knew Daniel would be happy. Daniel says, there's a snowstorm here, a bad one, and I'm stuck in the house. And then he says, oh my God, thanks, Bird. I am so excited. I am crying. Thank you. You're welcome, Daniel. John DeMarco is not having the same reaction. Gorilla says, hey, Bird, on I-90, there are 15-foot drifts, and they are digging out. The bulldozer's making a tunnel. Let's see your Jeep get through that. Where on I-90? Yeah, Gorilla, whereabouts on I-90, if you know the state or whereabouts? Daniel says, any news of Shatner returning to Trek? Not that I'm aware of, Daniel. Professor says, can they get any dumber? We'll see, Professor. John DeMarco says, this would be diametrically opposed to everything we know about Bashir's character. Well, if Bashir realizes that Section 31 has to exist, then wouldn't he say, if he's in charge, at least he can make sure it acts responsibly?
Indications negative at this time.
I'm just I'm just thinking. Arabic Sonder with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Arabic Sonder. It says Kapla, TBIF, and live long and prosper. Emoji TBIF, Arabic, live long and prosper, my friend. Happy holidays. Daniel says, I think the show will take place after Picard. It would make no sense to go back to the 24th century. They will probably go explore the new 25th century after Picard. You know, that's a possibility. I would think it would happen sometime after Lower Decks, but I don't know. I don't know if it would be before Picard. If it's before Picard, then the Romulans are still a threat. If it's after Picard, I don't know how you keep the Romulans as anything but just laugh, sad, a sad and depressing shadow of their former selves. Sounds like typical tabloid nonsense, says Professor Brandon Specs. Section 31 is dead. Well, Professor, we've got some periodical that, if this was a paper document, you would have at your library. And, I gotta say, I don't have a whole lot of faith in Giant Freaking Robot, but it's something. Gorilla says Kodaka, South Dakota. Oh, wow. Okay. So just so Mamo Pray knows, that's nowhere near I-90 in New York State, which is the I-90 we're familiar with. Captain Phantom Nerd says Section 31, aka Star Trek Hell. Arabic Sonder says hey to Gorilla. Gorilla says Kodaka. Mike Richards says greetings to Arabic. Daniel says I hate David Zaslav. He fired Henry Cavill, Superman, Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, and Ben Affleck, Batman. Now they are throwing out the DCEU and going for a new DC universe with new actors. I am sorry to hear that, Daniel. Arabic says greetings to Mike Richards. Captain Fandom Nerd says, Daniel, I would rather have all my teeth pulled than see a Section 31 show. Arabic says, are you happy now, Daniel? You're getting your Section 31 show. Professor says some periodical that's very non-specific and unconvincing. Daniel says, do you know why David Zaslav, is that his name, is doing this? It's because WB is $50 billion in debt, and they can't afford the Schneiderverse actors, and they want to reboot and go to a new DC universe to get younger actors. Well, if they can't afford the actors, then they do need cheaper ones. They want to get younger, overworked, underpaid actors fresh out of drama school so they can get people on the cheap. Well, it's not necessarily the worst idea, Daniel. If they can't afford it, then they've got to get actors somehow. So let's I'm going to try and do Wordle quick here, guys. If you don't want to know Wordle, come back in 5 minutes. Let's see. Mamo Pray has no idea what today's Wordle is, which is the way we like it. So let's put in a random word Reach. Reach. We've got an R and an A in the wrong spot. Let's try. I don't believe. No, I don't. Art. A-U-T. Author? No. Authie. Auths? No. Let's see. Peer. Pace. No. Link. No E. Polka. Polka. That's a word, right? Oh, there's no R. We need an R. Porch. Porridge. Por. P-O. P-O-R. Porrid. Porrid. Horrid. Hodar. 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 Lodar. Modar. March. No, we can't do. We have the C and the H. M-A-R-T. Mart. Marts. I mean, it's possible. Okay, we got the R and the T in the right spot and the A in the wrong spot. So it probably starts with A. It has to start with A because it doesn't end with A, right? I guess it could end with A. A-E-I-O-U. Well, let's see. Could it end in A? R-T-A. Vorta. P-O-R-T. Porter potty. Okay, so we've got O-R-T-A. We just need the first letter. It's not Q. Quarta, warta, rorta, torta, orta, no. Yorta, oita, no. Dorta, forta, gorta, jorta, corta, lorta, zorta, exorta, vorta, norta. This is not good. None of the letters I've said appear to be a word to me. Vorta is a word, but I don't think it's a word. No, it's not a word in the list. Okay, so like Vorta, it's not that. Norta, okay. Zorta, no. And Zorta. Okay, it's nothing on the bottom. Aorta, damn it. Of course. Aorta. Okay. The one letter I didn't double check. Aorta. So we got it in 4. We got it in 4. Okay. Okay. Let's do a quick news check. Syphilis is low. Come back in 5 minutes when Bird solves it, and the answer is on the screen. Yeah, well, fair enough. Gorilla says Bird is supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Stan C says no C. Party. John DeMarco says you'll need to reach into your heart to solve this one, Bird. Har, har, har. Syphilis is Vorta. Lol. Aorta. Aorta says positive candor. Arabic Sanders says lol. Syphilis. Good one. Yeah, aorta. You got it. Gorilla says Bird is using every letter, but the one is it. But the one it is. Daniel says Horta. Syphilis says Vorta is proper noun, doesn't count. And Stanley says doesn't that have an E in it though? And Gorilla says more like 1,000. Oh yeah, I-90 in South Dakota, Mamo Pray.
Oh.
I-90 in South Dakota. Let's see what's going on here. So the funding bill passed, I believe. House approves, the Senate approves. So yeah, 1.7 trillion. And TikTok will be officially banned from federal phones. So if you have a mobile device owned by the federal government, it will be illegal to put TikTok on it. Yes, because that made the bill. More than 1 million without power as massive winter storm wreaks havoc across the U.S. Man, I feel really bad for people whose power goes out because not so much, I mean, forget the snow, the bitter, bitter cold. If your power goes out, okay, you can put well, no. If you have a generator, you can possibly, keep a room warm with a space heater, but your pipes are going to start freezing. And at 12 degrees, you only have maybe an hour. You don't have a long time.
Until you mentioned that.
Oh, poor Mamo Pray. I told Sis O'Prey about keeping the water running. She'll be fine. She'll be fine. And if it goes out, she can come here. Or go to a closer family that has power. U.S. threatens Taliban with costs after ban on Afghan women and girls from school. How can you threaten the Taliban after you basically surrendered to them? Jesus fucking Christ. Google to bring up the heat to Samsung with its future phones. Okay. Microsoft claims FTC's lawsuit against Activision Blizzard buyout is unconstitutional. I mean, I thought it was a bit weird that they were blocking Microsoft from buying Blizzard on account of modern Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Like that was the only reason for the block. But whatever. I mean, I'm pretty sure that they're allowed to. The Supreme Court apparently already found that it's in the government's interest to block monopolies. Now, I don't think the government should have the right to do it. I didn't think the government would have the right to tell Microsoft they couldn't make Internet Explorer a part of Windows, but apparently there's people out there that feel otherwise. And somehow those people seem to have won in court. I would throw all those judges out. I know I can't legally, but I would let them, once they died, they wouldn't be replaced. I would have a litmus test, and any judges that felt that that was in the Constitution would never get appointed in a Bird O'Prey administration. Anyway. Recap review, Prodigy makes a connection in Supernova Part 1. Yet to watch it. And mysterious shapes inside Mars crater have scientists puzzled. That's garbage. 77. Helen Myron, 77, reveals working with Harrison Ford. 80, again, is very different. That's the 1923 Yellowstone prequel, which finally Mama Prey and I saw. I don't know 100% Mama Prey, but she didn't seem particularly thrilled with it, and neither did I. Maybe it'll get better. The first episode left a lot to be desired. Let's see. Archaeologists devise a better clock for biblical times. What? Anyway, a brief history of diffusion, the tech at the heart of modern image generating AI. Well, that could be interesting because image generating AI is becoming a pretty big thing. Text to AI to image AI exploded this year as technical advances greatly enhanced the fidelity of art that AI systems could create. Controversial as systems like Stable Diffusion and OpenAI's DALL-E 2 are, platforms including DeviantArt and Canva have adopted them to power creative tools, personalized branding, and even ideal new products. Ideate new products. But the tech at the heart of these systems is capable of far more than generating art. Called diffusion, it's being used by some intrepid research groups to produce music, synthesize DNA sequences, and even discover new drugs. So what is diffusion exactly? Why is it such a massive leap over the previous state of the art? As this year's winds down, it's worth taking a look at diffusion's origins and how advanced over time to become influential force that is today's diffusion. The story isn't over. Refinements to the techniques have arrived with each passing month, but the last year or two especially brought remarkable progress. The birth of diffusion. You might recall the trend of deep faking apps several years ago. Apps that inserted people's portraits into existing images and videos to create realistic looking substitutions of the original subjects, blah, blah, blah. Using AI, the apps would insert a person's face, or in some cases, their whole body, into a scene, often to convince enough people to fool on the first glance. Most of these apps relied on AI tech called Generative Adversarial Networks, or GANs for short. GANs consisted of two parts, a generator, blah, 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 that produced synthetic examples, images from random data, and a discriminator that attempts to distinguish the synthetic examples and the real examples from a training data set. A typical GAN training data set consists of hundreds to millions of examples of things like GAN is expected to eventually capture. Both the generator and discriminator improve in their respective abilities until the discriminator is unable to tell the real examples from the synthesized examples with better than 50% accuracy expected of chance. Top performing GANs can create, for example, snapshots of fictional apartment buildings. Style GAN, a system NVIDIA developed a few years back, can generate high resolution headshots of fictional people by learning attributes like facial pose, freckles, and hair. Beyond image generation, GANs can have applied to the 3D building space and vector sketches, showing an aptitude for outputting video clips, as well as speech and even looping instrumental samples in songs. In practice, though, GANs suffered from a number of shortcomings owing to their architecture. The simultaneous training of a generator and discriminator models are inherently unstable. Sometimes the generator collapses and outputs lots of similar seeming samples. GANs also needed lots of data and computing power to run and train, and made them tough to scale. Diffusion was inspired by physics. Being the process in physics where something moves from a region of higher concentration to lower concentration, like a sugar cube dissolving in coffee. Sugar granulars in coffee are often concentrated at the top of the liquid, but gradually become distributed. Diffusion systems borrow from diffusion in non-equilibrium. Jesus Christ, this is so fucking boring. Get to the good stuff. In physics, diffusion is spontaneous and irreversible. Sugar diffused in coffee can't be restored to cube form, but diffusion systems in machines aim to learn a sort of reverse diffusion process to restore destroying data, gaining the ability to recover data from noise. Diffusion systems have been around for nearly a decade, but relatively recent innovation from OpenAI called CLIP made them much more practical in everyday applications. CLIP classifies data, for example, images, to score each step of the diffusion process based on how likely it is to be classified under a given text prompt, e.g., a sketch of a dog in a flowery lawn. At the start, the data is a very low CLIP given score because it's mostly noise, blah, blah, blah. OpenAI introduced CLIP alongside image generating system, made its way DALL-E 2, open source alternatives like Stable Diffusion. So what can CLIP guided diffusion models do? Well, as alluded to earlier, they're quite good at generating art, from photorealistic art to sketches, drawings, and paintings, the style of practically any artist. In fact, there's evidence suggesting they're probably there's evidence suggesting that they problematically regurgitate some of their training data. Yes, that's a big problem. But the model's talent, controversial as it might be, doesn't end there. Researchers have also examined using guided diffusion models to compose music, blah, 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 blah. Beyond the music realms, model works in different ways. Add noise, universal. Oh my God, there's so much text. What might the future hold for diffusion models? The sky may well be the limit. Already, researchers have applied to generating videos, compressing images, and synthesizing speech. That's not to suggest diffusion won't eventually be replaced by a more efficient, more performant machine learning technique as GANs were with diffusion, but its architecture du jour for a reason. Diffusion is nothing if not versatile. Wow. That is one long, boring fucking story. I apologize for reading it. So basically, AI is improving. Okay, guys, let's get to Dear Bob. Gorilla's Random Thoughts says that's why you turn your water off and drain the pipes and then head to the emergency shelter. Yeah, 99% of people around here wouldn't have a clue. They wouldn't even know how to drain the pipes. And in fairness, they're not really made to be drained. Sci-Fi Nations says get to the good stuff. I'm sorry. Sci-Fi says open AI equals Skynet. That's probably true. That's probably true. Okay, Dear Bop. Dear Bop is a fraud. Down with Dear Bop and done with Dear Bop. I think they meant to say down with Dear Bop. Random Menace with a €2 super chat says PSA, gifts from Germans are poisonous. That's not all Germans, Random Menace. I hope. Sci-Fi Nation says Fusion did have a breakthrough last month. Neil deGrasse Tyson did a video on it. Fusion output more energy than was put into the system. And Random Menace got Kissing Dax. Awesome. A Christmas gift for us all. Thank you so much. And there was a super chat Kissing Dax, which was like the 1 in 30 chance. So thank you, Random Menace. And yes, Sci-Fi Nation, I saw the Fusion so-called breakthrough. However, it's my understanding after reading more and more on it that it didn't exactly produce more energy than was put in. The final level or the last part finally created more energy than was put in, but it still needed more energy by like a factor of 10 to get the process started. It was still, don't get me wrong, it was still a big breakthrough, but it was not, in fact, the breakthrough they made it out to be. So, yeah. Don't look for portable or commercial fusion generators coming anytime soon. Positive Candor says Maggie Threat, Star Trek and 3 in the Attic actress dies at 76. She was a model and singer before she guest starred on one of Sci-Fi series' earliest episodes, Mud's Women. Oh, so one of Mud's women died? I'm sorry to hear that. Thank you. Thank you for the news, Positive Candor. Dear Bop, Buddy Holly was a musician from the 50s. Weezer did a song called Buddy Holly as well. You were sent the lyrics of the song that you just dismissed. Yes, I dismissed it because it was a super long song, and Dear Bop is not about songs. So I'm sorry, but I don't want to get super long songs sent to Dear Bop. You can contact me some other way. If you want me to sing a song, you can send it to BertoPray5@AOL.com. You can message me on Twitter, on Discord, or any other way you have of getting my attention. But Dear Bop is not for a 30-line song. I'm not going to do it. especially if it's a song I don't particularly care for. You put a Sinatra song, and if I'm in the mood, I'd probably do it. Like it's Christmas now. If you put a Christmas song up, you got a good chance. But a random song called Buddy Holly, no, not happening. Dear Bob, it was 12 degrees early this morning where I live in Texas. Mox. Oh, Mox. I am so sorry to hear that. You guys are not used to those temperatures. And I feel bad. I feel bad for the herds, the cows that are down there on the ranches. They're not used to those temperatures either. Dear Bob, have you ever been able to read in a dream? Absolutely. Yes, I can. And people have told me, one particular person who I am friends with, tells me all the time, you can't read in a dream. And I've told him many times, I absolutely have read in my dreams. He refuses to believe me. I don't know I'm ever going to change his mind. So we just stopped talking about it. But yes, I 100% have read in my dreams before. I can, an odd dream that was about a homicide detective in New York. I won't go into too much detail, but I read 2 street signs near the end of the dream. Then I realized I was dreaming and couldn't read signs anymore. Why are some dreams so odd? Your thoughts on this? Thanks, Rogan Citizen. To be honest, I've never had a problem reading in a dream. I guess some people do. I've never had a problem. And also, actually, like the day before the Tilly dream, so like 2 or 3 nights ago, I actually had a lucid dream, which was the first one I had in a while. And in it, I was new. It was a complicated dream. A lot of stuff was going on. I actually believe I was reading something like an article or a newspaper or something. And while I was in the middle of reading it, I was like, holy shit, I'm dreaming, aren't I? And I got very depressed, realizing that I was walking and all this stuff. And I knew, I was like, wait, I can't walk. I'm stuck in my bed. This means I'm going to wake up. I'm going to be in my bed. And I said, well, fuck it. Fine. As long as I'm dreaming, I know I'm dreaming, I'm going to go out and do something. And so I just stopped what I was doing. Now, when I used to be able to lucid dream as a teenager, I had basically the powers of Q. I could just make anything I want appear, disappear. I could fly. Well, actually, not fly. Truth be told, I've never flew in a dream. Like Superman, that's one thing I was never, not that I'm never able to do. I never thought about doing it in my dream. And I never had a dream where I flew. I'm told other people have dreams where they fly. I've only flown in planes, and they always seem to crash. In fact, it's one of the ways I know I'm dreaming. But so other than that, I've always had powers of Q in my dreams when I was a teenager. Then I was stopped able to lucid dream abruptly. And now I occasionally have lucid dreams, but when I do, I know I'm dreaming, but I can't make anything happen. I have to work within the rules of the dream, which, okay, let's face it, means that I'm looking for a woman. So I can't just make a woman appear. I've got to go out and physically meet a person, like meet somebody on the street or in a store or an apartment or something. So yeah, it's and then by the time that happens, I've already started waking up. So from the time I realize I'm starting to dream to the time I wake up, I feel like I only have a few minutes. So it's never really enough time to it's never enough time for anything interesting to happen. I think reading in dreams is perfectly normal. I don't think there's anything fishy about it. Yes, I dream in color, Sci-Fi Nation. Um, I I suspect the only people who dream in black and white are people who had black and white TVs as kids. No, I honestly believe that. I don't know why people would dream in black and white for any other reason. There was no talk of people. There was never any talk of people dreaming in black and white before the invention of black and white television. If it was that people would say, "Oh, do you dream in color?" in the 1840s, the 1800s, the early 1900s, the 1700s, the 1500s, back in the Roman times, back with Socrates. Did Socrates ever say, "Did we ever dream in black and white?" No, black and white wasn't a thing. They didn't even know what black and white was. It was only when black and white television became a thing did people start dreaming in black and white. So yeah, no. I only dream in color. I've dreamed in animation. That was pretty interesting. More than once. But yeah. Sci-Fi says no Technicolor. Not Technicolor. Syphilis is bird of prey. Read a sign in a dream that said catering and then found Tilly under the donut sign. Very recently. Sci-Fi Nation says, and the sign says, I forgot the rest of the lyric. Syphilis says, I used to dream I was Spider-Man when I was a teen. Sci-Fi says, flying is good. Falling means you dream of lights out permanently. Sci-Fi says, bird needs Tinder, confirmed. Hakeem says, I had many dreams falling from the sky. It felt so real, I woke up with fast heartbeat. Yeah.
I dreamt I was falling and woke up on the floor.
Mama Bray says she dreamt she was falling and she woke up on the floor. She used to fall out of bed. Sci-Fi Nation says, Bird of Prey, I have Buddy Holly on double vinyl. It's still for Mop if she wants it. I don't believe Mama Prey's Buddy Holly. Thank you, but no thank you. There are people that would care for that more. I was thinking about dreaming, like, what did our ancestors, not even like ancient Rome, I'm talking about the first human beings before we even invented language. Okay, cavemen. What did they think dreams were? Did they even have a concept that dreams weren't real? For them, did they just think they were living a different life somewhere? That they were awake somewhere else and then they had a different body? I mean, we take it for granted, right? We take it for granted that as a kid, we're taught what a dream is and that dreams aren't real. But somebody had to tell us that. Somebody had to teach us that. would we have come to that conclusion if we literally didn't speak to anybody else? I mean, I think we could figure out, probably notice other people were dreaming. Because I'll be honest, like, I know Sassy's dreaming. When Sassy's sleeping, we can look at her and we know she starts making noises, and sometimes she even starts moving her feet in her dream, and we know she's chasing rabbits or whatever she's chasing in her dream. So I fully expect that even without language, we would have been able to pick up and know that other people were dreaming. So I think we probably knew it was normal, or at least that it happened to others. But I don't know, like, what would we have really thought if we didn't have language or a concept of telling people what we dreamt about. Would we all think we all dreamed the same thing? Would you assume that everybody who dreamed what you dreamed? I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. I don't think anybody can answer that. But it's something I thought about recently. Mike Richards says, if you knew Peggy Sue. I don't know if I'm familiar with that one. Sci-Fi Nation says they painted pictures with the blood of their enemies. Hail Karoga. The first Karogans. Mike Richards says Sassy is chasing the orphans back into the mines. Maybe. Maybe that's what she was doing. Dear Bop, Joe Biden here again. Did you know I will write Jill a poem for Christmas every year? I heard that you do. I heard you write them yourself. I'm kind of stuck this time. Could you help me with this? So far, I have this. That was weird. So far, I have this. My dearest Jill, your favorite snack is wine in the middle of the night. Your favorite room in the house is the porch. You love me so much that you change my pants when I poop in them. You are the best president this country ever had. Hunter is a good boy this year. My favorite color is blue. Thanks, Bob. Okay. I understand you started, but just do this, Joe. Roses are red, violets are blue. Kamala Harris is president. You are too. There you go. That she'll know that's from you. She will know you wrote that, Joe, and she won't feel threatened that you gave it to somebody else to write. Dave G. Sound says, I have told people in my dreams that they are figments of my imagination. They seemed perplexed. Captain Finity says, I just had a great meeting with our comics artist. I've always wanted to say that. Very cool. Positive Candor says, have you heard about Chat GPT? No, Positive Candor. No idea what Chat GPT is. Sci-Fi Nation's Hail Karoga, piss on Kurdistan. And Darren Wagner again says LDG wants you to quote Hurry the fuck up. Oh, there's only one more left, Aaron. By the way, welcome. And it's another long one. Dear Bob, this is Karogan Construction Foreman. I sadly have bad news to report. I write this note to tell you of a work accident that happened to one of the orphan works. Carl, you see, was not very bright. We sent him to work laying bricks. At the time of writing, capital, he not a pretty sight. While working on the 6th floor, Carl, not capital, had some bricks I had to clear, now capital, to throw them down from such a height, he was not a good idea. I told he had to cart them down the ladders. Now clearing all these bricks by hand, it was so very slow, so he hoisted a barrel and secured the rope below. But in hassle to do the job, he was too dumb to see that a barrel full of building bricks was heavier than he. Okay, so at least you're attempting to make a poem. Maybe that's why the grammar is so bad. So when he untied the rope and the barrel fell like lead, and clinging tightly to the rope, he started up instead. Well, he shot up like a rocket till he found that halfway up he saw a barrel coming down. Well, the barrel broke his shoulder as to the ground it sped, and when he reached the top, he banged the pulley with my head. While he clung on it tight through numb shock, and from this almighty blow, and the barrel spilled out half the bricks 6 floors below. Now, when these bricks have fallen from the barrel to the floor, poor Carl then outweighed the barrel and so started down once more. Still clinging tightly to the rope, Carl sped toward the ground, and he landed on the broken bricks that were all scattered round. Then he lay there groaning on the ground. He thought he passed the worst, when the barrel hit the pulley wheel, and then the bottom burst, while a shower of bricks rained down on him. As he lay there moaning on the ground, he let go of the rope. The barrel then being heavier, it started down once more and landed right on top of him as he lay upon the floor. Well, it broke 3 ribs and both his arms and his legs, and I can only say that I hope you'll understand why Carl is not at work today. Was this an AI generated poem, LDG? Okay, well, if Carl had an accident, then the Karogan healthcare system will take wonderful care of him. Just needs to fill out all the forms in triplicate and submit them to the correct whatever those are called, departments of government. Mr. Lundell says, whatever you do, do not read LDG's Dear Bob. Well, it seems like it's too late. Chat GPT is an open AI here, says Positive Candor. Gotcha. Thank you, Positive Candor. Sci-Fi asks if Darren is LDG's errand boy. Mike Richards says today's Dear Bob is sponsored in part by Jim Beam, Jack Daniels, and Xanax. Sci-Fi says it's amazing. It's called Karoga Care. Yes, Karoga Care. Thank you, Sci-Fi Nation. That'll get you all good. Mr. Lodell says I tried to warn you. Yeah, I think we're going to have to put in a character limit for Dear Bops from LDG. Second time in a row, LDG. It's too much text. Anyway, well, it's Friday. It's Christmas Eve. So I know a lot more people are getting ready to stream, and I want to eat some food. So I think we're going to call it a stream here. Thank you guys all so much for coming. Thank you again to Dave G and for the Christmas for the Christmas cards. Thank you to people who actually sent gift. And I know Random Menace still has one that is well. Let's just take a look. Back on December 8th, it was within a few hundred meters of my house. Ever since then, it went to Queens, to Brooklyn, back to Brooklyn, back to Queens, down to Maryland, to Pennsylvania, back to Pennsylvania, back to Maryland, to Washington, D.C., back to Pennsylvania, went to New Jersey, went back to New York City, went back to the Queens Distribution Center, again arrived at my local post office on December 13th, which it was then sent back to Queens, back to Baltimore, Maryland, back to Licksham Heights, Maryland, back to Hallenhorp, Maryland, then back to Phillipsburg, New Jersey, then to the New York City Distribution Center, then to the Queens Distribution Center, then back to Phillipsburg, New Jersey, then to Richmond, Virginia, where it had a processing exception. I thought, oh, maybe they're going to fix it. Nope. Then to the Richmond, Virginia Distribution Center, back to Hyattsville, Maryland, and again, it's in Hyattsville, Maryland. Oh, and now it's back at the Washington, D.C. Distribution Center. I don't think it's ever coming, but it is the thought that counts as it makes its way across the Northeast United States. Round and round and round it goes. When it stops, nobody knows. The multi-gun man is in the house. Hi, says Bird. Hey, Bird, how's it going? Kapla multi-gun man. Going well enough. Sci-Fi's at Bird brings the pizza. The pizzazz. The pizzazz. Farewell, Columbus, Ohio. Take care, Mike Richards. Dave G with a Christmas tree. Take care. Yes, Mom O'Prey.
Christmas to everyone who celebrates Christmas.
Mom O'Prey says Merry Christmas to everyone who celebrates Christmas. The multi-gun man says, see, the second I show up, shuts down. He hates me. I'm sorry, multi-gun man. I'm sorry. Got blah all. Bird out.